Well, greetings, y'all. Welcome along. And I just got to thinking this afternoon on my way home that I might share a few more stories. A lot of stories I have growing up, whether involving stories that I know of my grandfather and my dad and most all my uncles. I'm a pocket knife guy from way back, several generations, at least 3 generations, and I don't have any direct memories of my grandfather like a lot of people do. So pretty much a lot of what I do have are stories and things that I've been given that were his. And I wanted to show you this. This is a 1973 slimline trapper. There's a few of the dots removed. This little part right here that's gone. I've had several people tell me that Case didn't do that my grandfather probably had that done. I've actually had one person tell me that Case may have made an easy open model. I don't know, but if Case didn't do that and my grandfather did it, or somebody he knew did it, then they did a really good job, because it's even and it's smooth. There's no burrs on that. My grandfather would have bought this knife at a hardware store in Petal, Mississippi, more than likely. And this was the knife, I was told, that he kept in his toolbox, or not his toolbox, his tackle box. He was very much an avid fisherman. Now, he carried a knife like this. He carried a single blade bone handle slimline trapper. My cousin has that knife put away, but I ended up with this one, and it still sharp from the last time my grandfather sharpened it. But that was one of the things I was going to talk about. Look how much of that blade's gone. Those old guys like that, they knew how to sharpen a knife. And even sometimes to the detriment of the blade. Now, I'm not saying he did anything wrong. He most certainly did not. But these older knives like this, they survived. They kept up with the work. Because my grandfather and anyone of that generation like him, would have put that knife through plenty of hard paces. Another uncle of mine, my Uncle Wayne, I've got memories of him. He carried a 3-blade old-timer Stockman, and I wish I had it here to show you, as that knife has ended up with one of his grandsons, I believe. But that knife, I finally traded him out of that knife when I was a kid. I had it was probably a 1998 pocket-worn red bone Stockman, and I traded it to him because I wanted his old knife. That old worn out knife he had was just the coolest thing in the world to me, and so I traded it and got it from him. But it was fun watching him sharpen a knife, because they all just used a whetstone, just a regular whetstone, maybe put a little bit of oil on it. But my uncle, bless him, he would grind a blade on a stone, especially if it was one of the first times that he was sharpening that knife. It was almost painful to watch, but he could take a knife that was expertly sharpened in a factory. Now, yeah, he would grind away on it till he got the angles, the bevels on it exactly the way he wanted them. But you could shave your face with every knife he ever carried. It would be infinitely sharper than it was when it came from the factory. But and my dad, I remember growing up, my dad always carried a buck 110, and he had one of those. And guys that are about my age, a little older, a little younger, y'all remember those Lansky sharpening systems? It had the little T-shaped bracket that you know, you put the knife blade in and had the different stones and the rods so you could sharpen with the same angle on both sides. He used one of those, and I remember him in the evenings getting that Lansky sharpener out and sharpening that buck 110. He carried it. I think he finally lost it when the sheath came off of his belt. The leather broke on the sheath, and it came off his belt. So I don't have it. I don't have that knife. It was lost. Dad was real bad about losing knives like that. But yeah, just looking at these old knives that have been through it, you know, all the sharpening work that's been done on them over the years. I'm learning freehand sharpening. Yeah, I'm one of those that are guilty of using some kind of sharpening system, you know, that aids in with the, you know, with the angles. And there's definitely nothing wrong with that. But I'm learning the freehand thing. But I wanted to show off this 72. I may have said it was a 73, but this is a 72 case yellow handle. But yeah, that one's, talk about a prized possession there. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed seeing the knife. A few little stories about my people, and I hope y'all have a great day.